Well, yet again, it seems like science is backing up what religion teaches. What's up, guys? I'm Father David Michael Moses. I'm a Catholic priest. If you enjoy these videos, subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. So a recent study came out suggesting that Adam and Eve really did exist. For Catholics, us as Catholics, we believe there was a first man and a first woman. So we don't have to take everything in Genesis as literal. St. Augustine talks about how you don't actually have to believe that the world was created in 7 24-hour days. That story is getting to the deeper meaning, which is that God created everything. You could believe that if you wanted to, that it was 7 24-hour days, but you don't have to believe that. But we do believe that there was a first man and a first woman. One thing to note here, like when you look at the Gospels of Jesus, like the accounts of Jesus walking on the water, feeding the 5,000, it was popular for a little while for theologians to try to explain these things away, that to say like, okay, when Jesus fed the 5,000, it's just a story that means something else. It's a kind of parable. It didn't necessarily happen. No, we would actually say as Christians, we'd push back on that and say, no, Jesus was divine. He really did do these miraculous things. But when you look at something like Genesis, some of it can be understood to be allegorical. But we do believe there was a first man and a first woman. And so that's why this study is very interesting. Scientists have now found evidence that suggests all humans alive today do come from the same ancestor. The mitochondrial Eve, a type of genetic material passed from moms to their children, can supposedly be traced in all of our DNA. Geneticists traced this DNA to figure out when the lineage started and found out it was about 200,000 years ago. Researchers at the University of Sassari in Italy suggest Adam lived between 180,000 and 200,000 years ago through similar studies of the Y chromosome, placing the pair at around the same time in human history. So it seems like there was an Adam and there was an Eve, first man, first woman, and they lived about the same time, which would make sense, and we all came from them. So this is what the church says. Kind of amazing that this study is showing that. Why is this significant? Well, the church says that Adam and Eve, first man, first woman, sinned. They brought sin into the world. And that original sin has now been passed on to all of us, everyone else in humanity, except for Mary, except for Jesus. Anyone who pushes back on this, I would say, like, look at the world. Just look around. Tell me you don't think everybody is born with this tendency toward what is bad. We look at like world events, the way people act. When you look at yourself, your own brokenness, like St. Paul says, the good that I want to do, I don't do. The evil that I don't want to do, that I do. But that's really the idea. So that original sin has been passed on from our original ancestors. Very interesting that the science is just kind of picking up on that. And I'm seeing this trend actually in a lot of places. I just preached a homily this weekend at the parish just a few minutes ago, actually. And I talked about how the major tenets of Lent, prayer, fasting, almsgiving, these are things the church has done for a long time, the saints have done for a long time. And the science is showing that these things are really actually very, very good for us. Prayer is good for us. You kind of see a pseudo form of prayer in the culture with the rise and popularity of things like meditation, that kind of stuff. People are realizing that it's so good for your stress levels. It's so good for your anxiety, all that kind of stuff. You look at fasting. I mean, like intermittent fasting has become super, super popular nowadays. People are going these 2 days, 3-day water fasts. And yeah, stuff the church has said to do for a long time. Turns out it's actually super, super good for your body. Surprise, surprise. And then almsgiving, giving things away to the poor. Isn't this what all the saints have done? What St. Francis was all about, giving to the poor. Jesus talks about this all the time. And I just saw a study recently that showed that people who gave stuff away, they were happier. And just kind of amazing now that the science is backing all that stuff up. So one, I think it's a good reason, this is good proof to trust what the church teaches, to look at the lives of the saints, to model yourself after the lives of the saints, because it really is a great way to live. And then also, I think I'm excited in the future to see how much more the science continues to show us about how right the faith is. So faith and reason go so well together. Faith and science, these are all part of God's plan. They work together to reveal to us what's good for us as human beings. So what do you guys think? What do you think about that study? Let me know in the comments, other things you'd be interested in talking about. And we'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.